Here we are in section 2.1 exercises part C with numbers 22 through 25 that we're going to do this time. For a savings account that begins with $350 and has a 5% interest rate, so that's going to be a 0.05 that we're going to times everything by, fill out the following table. So we've got to fill out this table, and then we're going to place the entries, the things that we get, in the life plan spreadsheet that we have already created, and we're going to do that on sheet number 2. So first let's fill out the following table and then place the entries. So you'll notice here in our first year there's our beginning balance of $350, so that was inserted right there. And then the ending balance, we did $350 times 0.05 and then added to $350. And in the gathering or in your group, you should have been able to discuss why that is the same as 350 times 1.05. If you didn't, go ahead and run those calculations on your calculator right now to get the same thing. But you'll notice this is 350 times 1 and this is 350 times 0.05, and when you add them together they become this. So that's the shortcut of being able to do that. So here that is why it is 350 times 1.05. So there's the 350 and there's the 5%, and put together they have the 350 and the 5% to give you the ending balance, which that is the new beginning balance for the next year. So this one is going to be 367.5 times 1.05. So we're going to add the 5% on again. Let's get our calculator out and do that. 367.5 times 1.05. And that equals 385.875. Let's put that right here, 385.875. Well, we would round this to 88 cents if we were stopping right there. Notice that this will go down right there to the next one, 385.88, but we're going to take this, and for the next one, we're going to take and times by 1.05 again, add the 5% and itself back up. Let's pull our calculator back up here. Since we have this number and we can just use it as it's already times by 1.05, and we get 405.16875 or 406.17. Then that'll go to the beginning balance and pull up the calculator for the next one. Times by 1.05 equals, good. So now we're going to get 425.43 here. Good, put that guy right here, 425.03 is the next balance, and bring our calculator back up to times by 1.05 again. And we get 446.698. Wow, this just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Rounding to the nearest penny, we'd be at 0.70. So 446.70. Now, you'll notice I don't retype in this rounded number right now because if we round once and then round again and round again, by the time we get to the end, we'll be a little bit off. So that's why I am keeping all of the numbers in the calculator. So 446.70. Let's bring the calculator up and times by 1.05 again, and we get 469.03. Write that over here and then pull it up to times by 1.05 again, and we get 492.49. Good. Write that over here, pull it up and times by 1.05 again, 517.11. Pull that over there and do it one more time, 542.96. Write that over here and times by 1.05 again, times by 1.05 equals 570.11. Write that over here and times by 1.05 again. 1.05 equals 598.62. And write it over here, 598.62, and times one last time by 1.05. We get 628.55. 628.55. This guy is now the end balance after 12 years of this saving account that started at $350 and it slowly grew piece at a time. Let's double check our answer first. There we have it, $628.55. Now let's show you how to put it into an Excel document. Earlier, we had created an Excel spreadsheet of your life plan where you had an estimation of a future budget for a month's worth of living expenses about 5 years from now. It says to put this on sheet number 2. So let's show you how to do that. Here we pulled out an Excel spreadsheet where you might have had different items of transportation and housing here. Down here at the bottom, you'll see some sort of plus or ability to add another sheet in the same document. So we'll do that, and it creates sheet number 2. So here we're going to do this savings plan. I'll just type in here, click on a cell and type savings plan. And it says we've got 3 things: time, the beginning balance, and the ending balance. Okay, so here we have 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 12. And the beginning balance, we started with 350. And then the ending balance was when we times it, we had 367.5. And I'm just typing these numbers in here so we can watch it grow and get used to punching numbers in Excel. So that one became 367.5. And then this next one was 385.88. 385.88. Let's go ahead and go straight down and type in the very next ones down here. Okay, so we have the next one was 406.17, then 425.43, 446.70, 469.03, and we'll type them in all the way down. In the 11th year, 598.62, and in the last year, 628.55. And then we'll come up here, and the 385.88 that we ended in year 2 will be the beginning balance in year 3, 385.88. And so we'll move all of those exactly down here. One way to do it is if you highlight those and copy, which is right here, copy, or Control C. When you go Control V, it will copy and paste those values. So there we have it. We have the end balance of $628.55. Good. Number 23 says if a savings account started at $300 and earned 7% per year, how much would be in the account at the end of 22 years? Wow. We would have to make a table like this and go all the way down to 22 years at the end. Or if you discussed in your gathering how it would work, you could actually make this much, much faster. That this could be, you're going to take 300, and at the end of the first year, you're going to have timesing by 1.07. At the end of the second year, you're going to do the same thing. At the end of the third year, the same thing, all the way to the end of the 22nd year. So you're going to have this happening 22 times. So the shortcut then is 300 times 1.07 to the 22nd power. And look how fast exponents make this work. Let's pull out our calculator and make sure we can punch that in. Clear everything. 300 times 1.07 to the, that's the exponent, 22nd power. And it equals 1,329.12. 1,329.12. Let's check our answer and see if that came out right. 1,329.12. Oh, that was slick. That was nice. Okay, let's move on to number 24 and 25. Number 24. For a savings account that begins with $100 and has 6% interest rate, and to which you are able to add $25 per year, fill out the following table and place it on sheet 2. So we're going to be on that same sheet of the life plan spreadsheet. Here we have the same table, first year, second year, third year, all the way down to 12. Here's our beginning balance of $100. That was the exact same thing. And then it says we're going to have 6% interest. So this is just like what we did in number 22, but then it has, ta-da, we're going to add $25 as well. So let's start filling this out. There's our 131, and it comes right over here and is the beginning balance for the next year. And the 131 we times by 1.06, that's the 6% interest, and then add $25, and we punch it out and we get 163.86. And that becomes the beginning balance over here. So let's pull out our calculator and start doing this. So clear everything. And we're starting with, let's run this last calculation. So we have 131 times 1.06, and then we add $25. And there we have the 163.86. So now in this one we get this 163.86 times 1.06 add 25, and that equals 198.69. Let's write that in here. 198.69. That will also be the beginning balance that we'll put right over here, 198.69 for the next year. And that's what we're going to times by 1.06 and then add 25 with to get the next balance. So let's put that in our calculator. 198.69 times by 1.06 add $25. That's 235.61, 235.61, which is also the beginning balance for the next year. In the calculator, we'll find the ending balance by taking that number, keeping all the decimals. Don't round too early or we'll get off by a few cents at the end of the answer. Times by 1.06 plus $25 equals 274.75. 274.75, and it comes right down here. For the next year, times by 1.06 and then add $25. 316.23. Oh yeah, not quite up to 24. 316.23. And put it down there as the beginning balance for the next one. The next year, times by 1.06 to add 6% interest plus $25 that we were able to add. 360.2, that 8 will round it up to a 21. 360.21. Beginning balance for next year, and let's find the ending balance for year 8. Timesing by 1.06 and adding $25. 406.82. That is the beginning balance for the next year, and to find the end of year 9, we times by 1.06 and add $25. And we get 456.23. For the end of year 10, we're going to times by 1.06 and add $25. And we get 508.60. 508.60. 508.60 is the beginning balance of year 11, and to find the end, we times by 1.06 and add $25. We get 564.12. And finally, that will be the beginning balance for year 12, and to find the ending balance, we will times by 1.06, which will add the 6%, and then the $25 additional in there will give us 622.97 will be the end rounding. 622.97. Let's double check our answer. And there we have it, 622.97. Great. Now we're going to need to punch these numbers into the spreadsheet. So let's pull that up. Here was our number 22. Let's do the same thing. We'll copy at least this much. So we're going to hit Control C, and this will be number 24. We'll put right here. And then the beginning balance and ending balance. And then we type in The 100 was there, and this was 131. We'll go down and do what we did before and put these numbers in. 163.86, and then 198.69, then 235.61, and we'll type in all of these into the spreadsheet, and then we can copy them over to the other column. The end of year 11, we've got 564.12, and then year 12, 622.97. Oh, good. So then we're able to take these ending balances for years 1 through 11. If we hit Control C, or we could also go like this and hit Copy, way up here, Copy, and then go over here and hit Paste. And any of these paste options will put them right there. There we go. So now we've put that into an Excel spreadsheet as well. Okay, let's look at number 25. If a savings account started at $200, so we would stick a 200 at the beginning, and earned 7% per year, how much would be in the account at the end of 12 years if you were able to add $40 per year? So we're going to go 12 years and 7%. So we're going to be taking timesing by 1.07 and add $40 per year. Now this keeps it from being so nice as number 23, where all we had to do was take 1.07 to the 12th power and times it by 200. We're going to start off like this, and we can't just repeat this by exponents because this added 40 will mess us up. So we actually have to go and put that in a spreadsheet and be able to calculate it. So you could fill out a table like this by hand. I'll bring a spreadsheet in because we're going to be using a lot more of those. So there's our number 24. Let's copy this right here and put number 25 next to it. And we can slide this over a little bit so we can see it. There we go, and we have our beginning balance and our ending balance. We're starting with $200 and we're earning 7% interest and then adding $40. Let's pull out our calculator and we'll do it one at a time. In the next week, you'll learn how to actually do the equations and the formulas in a calculator right in Excel itself, but we're going to use a calculator for now. So our beginning is 200 times 1.07 plus $40. That was the end of the year, equals, and we get 254. So we'll put 254 right here. Then take that times 1.07 plus $40. And we get 311.78. Good. Now take for the next year, times by your 1.07, that's your 7% interest, add $40. And we get 373.60. 373.60. The next year, we will times by 1.07 and then add the $40. And we get, at the end of the fourth year, 439.76. Punch that in, and let's do it again for the sixth year, times 1.07 plus the $40. 510.54. Punch that in, and the next year we will times by 1.07 and add $40. And we get 586.28. Punch that guy in. For the seventh year, same thing, times by 1.07, add the $40. And we get 667.32. And the next year we will do the same thing, times by 1.07 to add the 7% interest and then add the $40 after that. 754.03. Good. Now the ninth year, times by 1.07, add the $40, and we get 846.81. After punching that in, we go to the 10th year, timesing by 1.07, and then adding $40. And that equals 946.09 is what it looks like. 946.09. Punch that in. And number 11, year, times by 1.07 to add the 7% interest. Then add the $40 in. And we get 1,052.31. 1052.31. And the final year, we're going to add that 7% interest by timesing by 1.07, then adding $40. And we get 1,165.98. 1165.98. So the answer, we didn't actually have to fill out the whole table, but the table was helpful in getting that end result. Let's check our answer. We have $1,165.98, and that is correct. Good. During the next lesson, I hope you're prepared that when you get to the Excel spreadsheets, that you're looking for some shortcuts to not have to punch all these in, but be able to use a formula to be able to get all the way to the end.